How did Donald Trump defy conventions in political science to win the 2016 U.S. presidential election? In mid-June 2015, U.S. billionaire, Donald John Trump, announced his intention to contest for the U.S. presidency. This announcement was not treated seriously and many thought Trump, like tens of other Republicans, will drop out of the race in no time. However, this proved to be a wrong assumption. Trump went on to compete and win the election. He became the first person to be elected to the White House without any prior experience in a public office or the U.S. military. In spite of this, Trump defied all assumptions and polls to defeat Hillary Clinton, who was backed by two former presidents. One of them, her own husband, with who she spent 8 years in the White House as First Lady. The other, who was the sitting president, announced that Hillary is the most qualified person to become president in the history of the United States. So how did Donald Trump defy all odds to win the election? The answer lies in his unconventional nature, his use of ultra-modern technology, and the way he packaged himself as a candidate to gain public appeal. The key pointers are summed up as: 1. The failures of the ruling political group. 2. Trump's charisma and strong communication skills. 3. Packaging of Trump's plans and communication skills. 4. Application of business theories, and use of modern technology. And 5. Failures of the Hillary Clinton campaign. 1. Failures of the ruling political group. The Democrats, who are left-wing, believe in a welfare-based society. They believe in wealth distribution and care for the poor. However, this involves so much tax burden on the rich and productive middle class, as well as limits on production by taxing businesses. This created a stagnation in the U.S. economy, and there were many groups that felt marginalized. These groups united and created the impression that the United States was in some kind of crisis and stagnation. The moral panic that followed caused many Americans to believe that the Democrats have failed and it was time to give a Republican president the chance. Therefore, Trump had an inherent advantage, since he was contesting as a Republican. All he needed to do was to restate the complaints against the government and people would believe him. This gap, coupled with the Republican promise of creating jobs to reward productive Americans, laid the foundation for a Republican victory in the 2016 election when the primaries began in 2015. 2. Trump's charisma and strong communication skills and the Republican primaries. Trump was not accountable to any interest group or sponsoring entity. Hence, he did not have to worry about staying politically correct. This political correctness was seen as the cause of America's problems by many ordinary Americans. It had led to rules and unnecessary protests about simple things that had made people uncomfortable in America. Therefore, in the primaries, Trump, who was sponsoring his own campaign, simply needed to say things that other people were afraid of saying. Trump could insult anybody without fearing any form of cuts or sanctions. He blamed George W. Bush for failing to secure American, hence, creating the grounds for the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. This was something other Republican candidates were afraid to mention. Furthermore, Trump knew there was nothing like bad publicity. Trump turned all the negative publicity to his advantage by saying more ambiguous and ridiculous things that caused the media to focus on him. Left-wing media houses that were anti-Republican turned their cameras on Trump with a view of destroying his reputation. However, Trump got more popular and went on justifying the most trivial comments he made. Thus, Trump was able to defeat the 16 other candidates who were seeking the Republican presidential nomination. 3. Political marketing packaging of candidate Trump and his communication strategy. Donald Trump is naturally charismatic. He has the ability to pull huge crowds and entertain them whilst delivering his message in a very personal and unconventional manner. Trump got the crowd's cheer to his emotional appeal. And popular chants made his campaign more exciting. Lock her up, build the wall, all elicited equally exciting responses from Trump, which in turn caused the cameras to focus on him. Trump was able to use reverse psychology to get the media to go after him, and this contributed to his popularity. Aside a communication strategy steeped in charisma, Trump was able to present himself as a unique and distinct candidate, one that was not from the political establishment. He presented himself as a successful businessman who could solve problems and was rich. Hence, he argued that America needed a change from the normal bureaucratic president to give a billionaire a chance. This way, the voters began to think he had a progressive and more successful plan for America. Trump therefore made unprecedented promises like building a wall to keep out Mexican migrants and locking up a political opponent. These things were almost impossible to the average American, but being unconventional and sounding serious when he said it, people began to believe Trump. Trump also made a series of daring promises for America, like bringing back American jobs from overseas with huge tax cuts and building infrastructure. 4. Application of business theories and use of modern technology. Trump used concepts from business school to enhance his campaign. For instance, Trump used the game theory to identify that there are different classes of people in America who had different needs. Hence, he focused on the largest groups of people and gave them promises, similar to the stakeholder management theories. Through this, he only got the minimal number of supporters he needed to win. Furthermore, Trump used Cambridge Analytica's unique system of technological analysis to gather information about different constituents of the voter population. Cambridge Analytica's system provides advanced mechanisms to study voters and their needs and also find ways of meeting their needs. This predictive ability and the presence of numerous social media and internet channels to spread information, Trump was able to appeal to voters in a much more personal manner. 5. Failures of the Hillary Clinton campaign. Hillary Clinton's campaign played a second fiddle to the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign was the exciting and innovative thing. It was unpredictable and it defied all conventions. Hillary's campaign, which was conventional and orthodox, could not live up to the Trump campaign. Thus, it condescended to respond to the actions of the Trump campaign team. This led to a series of personal attacks which did not help the Hillary team. Furthermore, the right-wing groups had spent the best of the electoral year condemning everything the sitting president, Barack Obama, did. This ranged from his signature policy, Obamacare, to his weaknesses in controlling immigration. With this background, the Trump campaign simply needed to highlight the errors and failures of the Obama administration and tell Americans that Hillary will repeat them, and this would be another 4 years of hell. Ultimately, Americans decided to give Trump a chance. Although a Trump presidency came with many unprecedented risks, Americans voted for him with the hope that he would create jobs, limit immigration, grow the American economy and give Americans a better life. Through this, Trump defied all conventions in political science, won the elections of November 2016 and was sworn in as president on January 20, 2017. Thanks for watching this informative piece on political science. If you liked it, subscribe to our channel for more educational materials in different fields of higher learning. Have a nice day.